see. Minimize that. Okay, Allstar Link presentation for the Union County Amateur Radio Club by Ed, KE8ANU, that's me. And with linking in general, there's several different analog linking options that we can use to link radios over the internet or computers and radios over the internet. Common ones are Echolink, IRLP, Echo IRLP, Allstar Link, and then there's another flavor of Allstar Link called ham VoIP. And I'm going to talk about differences between these. Echolink is pretty easy to register with and set up. They have software that runs on a Windows PC and Android and iOS. And if you don't have a radio, using the software, you can connect to repeaters and simplex nodes and talk on them. So it's really, really great for new hams, especially new hams that haven't purchased a radio yet. And it's convenient. You know, when you're out of town and you want to check in or talk on the local repeater, you can use the Echolink app on your smartphone to connect to it, and pretty easy to use. IRLP is the Internet Radio Linking Project. With IRLP, you need an IRLP board to connect a radio to a computer. There's no software-only option, so there's no Android or iOS app for it. And to use it, you need to have a radio connected to a computer using the IRLP hardware board running the IRLP software, and then another radio then to talk through that radio that's connected to the repeater, which a lot of times if you're doing a simplex node can be an HT, or it could also be a repeater. And of course, Echolink, you can also connect up to a radio or repeater. And one of the things about IRLP is IRLP keeps the radio in amateur radio by requiring everyone to have a radio to use it. Generally speaking, the audio quality is a little bit better on IRLP compared to Echolink, and that can be due to in general, you know, the radios and repeaters having better audio quality than a Windows computer with a cheap microphone attached to it, and the audio level is not adjusted very well. And there's Echo IRLP. Echo IRLP requires a working IRLP installation, and it adds Echolink functionality to an IRLP node or repeater. With Echo IRLP, you can only have an IRLP connection or an Echolink connection. You can't have both an IRLP and Echolink connection at the same time. There's two flavors of Allstar Link. There's Allstar Link, which is ASL distribution, and that I believe is based off of Debian Linux. And then there is ham VoIP, which is for Raspberry Pi, and it's based off of Arch Linux. And if you look into Allstar Link and the Allstar Link distribution versus ham VoIP, you'll probably find a lot of information online about the Allstar Link and ham VoIP folks not playing well together. Allstar Link is open source, and so with open source software, the way it's licensed, you're supposed to make the source code and your changes available to everybody else. And the HamVoIP folks, they don't seem to make their source code or changes they've made to Allstar available to anybody, which is the main dispute between the Allstar Link folks and the HamVoIP folks, and potentially could be a possible GPL license violation. So why did I decide to go with Allstar Link? Well, it's open based on Asterisk PBX, which is the open source phone system. And Asterisk and derivative works are licensed under the GNU GPL version 2. And one of the things that open source license says is basically you can have the source code and make changes to it, but you have to make your changes available to everyone else. And it has a few other things in the license as well. These types of open source licenses are often called copyleft licenses, as opposed to copyright licenses. And this is the main issue between the ASL folks and the HamVoIP folks. And I'm going to put the PDF of the presentation up on the club website. I just wanted to tell everybody I do have links in the slides. So if you download them and click on them, this is a write-up about the dispute between the Allstar Link folks and the HamVoIP folks. So Allstar Link is more open to innovation. Allstar folks seem to welcome linking together Echolink, IRLP, and Allstar, along with bridging DMR, DStar, and other digital modes with analog Allstar Link. The IRLP folks aren't too keen on having an IRLP Allstar Link node. Allstar Link also allows Ham Shack Hotline, which is a private voice over IP phone system for amateur radio operators, to link to Allstar nodes. And if we look here on the Ham Shack Hotline, these are phone extensions and tied to different Allstar Link nodes, and it gives you tells you where they're at, and using the Ham Shack Hotline to transmit after a connection, use *99 to key up and pound to unkey. And also with any link system, remember pause after keying, but before speaking, to allow all the repeaters that are connected to it to be able to key up before you start talking. So I personally think that's a pretty innovative feature or use of Allstar Link. Audio quality on Allstar Link is pretty good. It uses existing voice over IP codecs. Some of them are common to voice over IP phones. And of course, it uses Asterisk open source phone system on the back end. Allstar Link can be used on a private network to link repeaters. So it can be used if you have a wireless network set up, point-to-point network that isn't connected to the internet. You can use Allstar Link to link repeaters together. Or it can also be used for private linking over the public internet. And so you don't necessarily, if you're doing private linking, you don't have to register your node with the Allstar network and make it available for other people to connect to. So should you choose the Allstar Link distribution or HamVoIP? Well, the choice is yours. When I started with Allstar Link, I went with HamVoIP. At the time, HamVoIP seemed easier to get started with. It had a little bit better documentation. And the Allstar Link organization, we're going through some internal issues that were being worked out after the founder of Allstar Link passed away. One of the main issues that they were getting worked out was actually who owns the copyright of the Allstar Link code. And here's a picture of my Allstar node. So to the left, I have an Alinco 70 centimeter radio, and that's actually on the water tower input frequency. And I'm using the RA35 radio interface board that connects with a DB9 connector to the DB9 connector on the back of the 70 centimeter radio, and connects via USB to a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus that is running the Allstar Link software, which in my case is HamVoIP Raspberry Pi image. There's different radio interface options. Repeater Builder, they make a RIM and RIM Lite products for different radios. Masters Communications, they make several RA boards. The one I have is RA35. They make some that have more options, and I think a couple with less options on them. And you can RA boards you can either buy assembled and tested, or you can buy them as a kit and put them together yourself. DMK Engineering has a USB radio interface. They call it a URI, and a lot of people will use that. And there's also information on the web that can show you how to take a cheap USB sound card and wire it up and make your own radio interface with it. So you have a lot of different options there to get a radio hooked up to Allstar node. This web interface is called Supermon, which is specific to the HamVoIP Allstar distribution. And as you can see, here I'm connected to the KF8IV, which is out of Kingwood, Texas. Another node I have, which actually is the one I got set up for Paul that he uses up in Marion. And IAX-RPT is the mobile DV switch app on my phone. And of course, I'm also connected to my Echolink app on my phone. And you can see there's different options you can use to help manage your Allstar node with the web interface, which can be pretty handy. This is the bubble chart. So this shows all the nodes that my node is connected to. My node is the blue one in the middle, and as you can see, pretty basic. It's connected to the 4 different nodes that are listed in the previous page. Mobile apps, there's DV Switch Mobile, which is available for Android. And DV Switch Mobile requires you to have an Allstar node that's set up to use it with. There's Echolink for Android and Echolink for iOS. With Allstar, you can configure it to allow Echolink connections, which I have set up on my node. This is the DV Switch mobile app. And on the left side has my node number, and you can connect to it. After it's connected, you'll notice the push to talk button isn't not grayed out. And so you can press the push to talk button. It'll key the node up, and you can talk using your phone, and hit the push to talk button again to unkey. One thing I do like about DV Switch Mobile is it has a DTMF keypad that you can use to send DTMF commands to the node you're connected to, which can be handy to if you want to make connections or disconnect from stuff. And under the status tab, it'll also list other connections that your node has. And again, you have to have Allstar Link node configured for DV switch mobile connections to be able to use it. Echolink is a little different. This is some screenshots for Echolink for Android. Once you connect to Echolink, you can browse based on location for repeaters or nodes to connect to. The dash L's, call sign with a dash L, is a link, which generally are simplex nodes. If it's a dash R, then it should be connected to a repeater. And regular call signs, of course, have a different icon as individuals that are signed into Echolink. The middle picture shows my Echolink app connected to my Echolink or Allstar node. And I got it set up so it displays the Allstar node number and the Echolink node number and the location. And it'll also display systems linked. So the 467302 is my Allstar node that Paul's using, and the 51326 is the Allstar node that's in Texas. And Echolink also has a chat feature, so anybody else that's connected via Echolink, if they want to chat, they can chat with each other in this window. And then Echolink for iOS. I want to thank Joe for the screenshots for this. This is the Echolink icon. And so, of course, that launches the Echolink app. And here he's connecting to the W8KWH-R in Delaware, which is Ken's Echolink node that's on the repeater frequency. And then this shows the app connected to Ken's Echolink node. And this is what it shows on iOS when he's transmitting, which looks a lot better than on the Android app. Android app looks similar, but not quite as polished with a shiny microphone and a meter on it. This is a map of the Allstar Link nodes. As you can see, there's quite a few of them. And this can be found on the Allstar Link website. And this is the Allstar network bubble chart, which if you look real close, you can see there's a lot of nodes connected to other nodes. And if you look around the outside, there's a lot of nodes that aren't connected to anything. If you view this on the Allstar Link website, you can actually, get it bigger and scroll around so you can actually see the connections better and who's connected to who. This is my portable node. This is a Sherry node, plugs into the Raspberry Pi via USB. And you can order this already put together and tested or in kit form. I've ordered it in kit form and soldered it together and set it up. And getting it working, they have pretty good documentation on the website for it, as far as getting it working with a ham VoIP and configuring it and programming the transceiver for a frequency. Does a good job of walking you through that. And there's different portable node options. hamprojects.info/allstar. First one, that is the place that has the Sherry nodes. They also recently released a Pi hat that'll fit right on top of a Raspberry Pi. So you doesn't plug into the USB port, so it's a little bit more streamlined. You also have it available, both the Sherry and that available in 70 centimeter and 2 meter. They also have radio list nodes available. So what this is, this particular one plugs into a Raspberry Pi and has a microphone that plugs into it and looks like a speaker output on it that you can use without hooking it to a radio and be able to connect to Allstar nodes and talk. And there's different versions of this as well. You could also set an Allstar node up without a radio using the mobile DV switch app on your Android and use it that way too. Well, and you can also find instructions and how to build your own radio list node with a speaker and microphone. So you have a lot of different ways you can connect to Allstar. This is the Supermon for my portable node. And as you can see, I'm connected to the East Coast hub, which terminology, an Allstar hub or Allstar Link hub is a computer, say a server that, can handle multiple simultaneous connections that is not connected to a radio. IRLP calls that a reflector, and Echolink calls that a conference server. So 3 different terminologies that kind of mean the same thing. The East Coast reflector links IRLP, Echolink, Allstar Link, DMR, D-Star, and System Fusion together. And there's their system diagram. And it looks like they have 2 Echolink nodes. They're connected to 2 different DMR networks. They're connected to Brandmeister and TGIF. And they also have it's like a couple of D-Star reflectors connected into it. And a couple different System Fusion, I think they call them rooms, if I'm not mistaken. And 3 Allstar hubs and an IRLP reflector. And looks like the digital stuff bridges in through the Allstar bridge nodes that they have. So you can do quite a bit with Allstar Link, and you can set up a simple node, or as the East Coast reflector, more of a complex system. So this is the bubble chart for the East Coast reflector. Now, even though on the web interface it just showed 1 connection, my portable node, which is the little blue one that's down the lower left side of the screen there, is connected to all those other nodes in that bubble chart. Oh, one other thing I'll mention too is Allstar Link can connect to more than 1 node simultaneously. So you can connect an Allstar node to another Allstar node and to an Echolink node, or you can connect the Allstar node to 5 other nodes if you want. And in this situation, I connected into an Allstar hub that has many nodes that are connected together. And so that's how you can grow a Allstar Link network over the internet by making a lot of connections. So where to start? Register for an account on the Allstar Link website and or Echolink websites. If you do Echolink, download and install the Echolink app on your device, and check your audio level settings, and then connect to some Echolink nodes and make some contacts. With Allstar, you can set up an Allstar Link node, either with a node radio to use with an HT or without a node radio, configured with DV Switch Mobile. Or you could also do a portable node with like something like the Sherry kit or their Pi hats that they have now. And use DV Switch Mobile or an HT to create connections from your Allstar Link node using DTMF commands. If configured for Echolink, you can also connect to Echolink nodes by using the Echolink node number. And this link here will take you to the Echolink website. It'll show you the current Echolink logins. So you can look up a node by call sign, and the column on the right will tell you what the Echolink node number is. Some basic Allstar DTMF commands. Star plus the node number will disconnect that link. Star 2 plus the node number will connect a link in monitor mode. So with monitor mode, any audio that comes from that link will key up the radio connected to your Allstar node. But if you key up, say, on an HT, or if you're using DV Switch, do push to talk on DV Switch and talk on your Echolink node, it's not going to send that to the link you're connected to if it's in monitor mode. And star 3 in the node number will connect to a link in transceive mode. With Echolink nodes, to connect using DTMF, you have to have an extra 3 in front of the node number. And if the node number is less than 6 digits long, you have to pad it with zeros. So in this example, you would do star 3300 and then the 4-digit node number for a 4-digit node number. And star 71 will disconnect all links on the Allstar node. And this page will give you some more DTMF commands that you can use. And the HamVoIP website documentation on that lists some DTMF commands as well. Some additional background information about Allstar Link. Of course, it uses Asterisk, and Asterisk was started by Mark Spencer, who later formed Digium, which is a company that makes hardware and supports Asterisk. And I think they may have merged or got bought out by a different company now. But Mark gave a keynote called Asterisk Around the World at the 2013 Ohio Linux Fest. And I got a link here that if you want to listen to his keynote talk, you can listen to it, the audio from it. If I remember, I think it's probably right around an hour, give or take, long. And then Jim Dixon, WB6NIL, started using Asterisk Link radios together and started Allstar Link. And I had a link to a YouTube video for an interview with him, and it was recorded at AstraCon in 2009, which is the annual Asterisk conference. So I'm not going to go through that, of course, on this presentation, but it'll those links will be there in the PDF if anyone's interested in watching them or listening to the keynote. And let's see. This is the end of my presentation. So, does anybody have any questions on anything at all?
Well, there's a lot to digest there. Amongst all the other things I'm trying to digest. So that'll be a project down the road for me, I think.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to kind of show different ways that Allstar Link could be used without diving into technical details. So
And it's just another facet of amateur radio. There's a lot of things you can get into.
yep.
Yeah, I've got a couple All-Star nodes set up, and then my oldest brother, KDHUJ up in Cardington, he has a node, and we have them connected together. So he can be at his house talking on HT and talk to me 35 miles away, and audio quality is very good through All-Star.
That's
I'm
pretty
trying
neat.
to set up an All-Star hub, but I'm having some difficulties. I might ask Ed some questions offline if he's had any experience in setting up a hub.
So,
Pretty neat use for that, Mark.
and I know DV switch you can use to. I believe you use DV switch in conjunction with All-Star to bridge, digital modes to analog, or even different digital modes together.
Ed,
I haven't went down that rabbit hole yet.
I have all iPhones, iPhones and Mac stuff, but if I was to get my hands on an Android phone, a couple of my coworkers, because my work gives us our phones. I have a personal phone, but they give us our work phones too. And if I got my hands on an old Android phone from someone that's not using it anymore, could I set that up for it, you think? Or would that be, does the phone have to be working, or are you just using it for the apps, right?
Yeah, it needs an internet connection.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have one from Ken that's what I use it for. I don't have the SIM card for it. I just use the Wi-Fi part of it. You can also use a tablet too. It's not a little more cumbersome, I think, with a tablet versus a phone. But
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, if you have a Chromebook will run Android apps. Not sure if you have a Chromebook.
I've got a couple MacBooks and iPads and a couple iPhones and the dark side.
well, I'm on a MacBook, so I'm with you.
Yeah. My company lets us pick what phones we want, and a couple of my coworkers have Android phones, so I just texted one of them because I know he got a new phone recently, just to see if he has his old one, because they don't ask for them back. We can literally just do whatever we want with them. So if I can get my hands on that, that'd be nice.
Yeah, something to play with.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that info, Ed. That was
You're welcome.
a lot of info there, but it's very interesting.
Ken,
Yeah.